Hello everyone, I'm Mihoko. This time the Manyoshu Part Four. The Manyoshu is the oldest surviving anthology of poetry in Japan. Its poems are composed during 130 years from the early 7th century to the middle of 8th century. It was compiled in the late 8th century. Most of the poems are composed in the form of short poems called tanka. Tanka poems have 5 lines with 5-7-5-7-7 Japanese syllables.
During that time, the capital underwent several changes, but most of the capitals were located in present-day Nara Prefecture. At that time, the capital in Nara was apparently the second largest city in the world after the capital of China. Among the capitals in Nara Prefecture, the biggest one is currently being restored and will become a major historical theme park in the future.
In this video, I'll introduce 11 tanka poems, mainly by the poets who are active in the early 8th century. Through the poems, you'll learn about Japanese customs and ways of thinking. I hope you'll enjoy it.
On New Year's Day in the year of 730, a grand party for plum blossom viewing was held at a mansion. The host was Otomotabito, who was a master of the mansion. At that time, white plum trees had just arrived in Japan from China, and they are very popular among the educated people. 32 people gathered and composed poems about plum blossoms in town while drinking sake, Japanese wine. People are decorating the heads with plum blossoms. Those days, men and women alike wore various flowers in their hair. It was a way of enjoying the seasons together with plants, and was probably a form of fashion. The poem composed by otomotabito. 我が園に梅の花散る久方の雨より雪の流れ来るかも。White petals of the plum trees fluttering down in my garden. Are there snowflakes rolling down from the heavenly sky? The poem composed by yamanoueokura. 春されば、まず咲く宿の梅の花。一人三つつや、春日倉さん。When spring comes, plum blossoms in my garden, the first to bloom. How could I spend this spring day enjoying them alone? The Manyoshu was written in Chinese characters. This is because easy kana characters had not yet been created at that time. In the Manyoshu, the preface is written before the poems composed by 32 participants in the plum viewing party. It is said to have been written by Otomotabito. Japan uses its own calendar in addition to the Western calendar. It is a name of a Japanese era. For example, the year 2022 is the 4th year of Reiwa in Japanese calendar. In modern times, it corresponds to the reign of one emperor. When the former emperor abdicated in 2019 and the then crown prince acceded to the throne as a new emperor, the Japanese era name became Reiwa. Until then, Japanese era names had been derived from the Chinese classics, but the name of Reiwa was the first to be created from the Manyoshu, Japanese classics. The 2 characters are in the preface to the poems of the banquet. Otomotabito spent 5 years serving as the governor-general of one province called Dazaifu in Kyushu Island. Dazaifu was the second largest city after the capital of Nara at that time. Because of its location near the sea, it was a hub for cultural exchange with foreign countries and military defense. A unique culture blossomed in Dazaifu, and educated and high-ranking officials were dispatched there. Otomotabito created a great poetry circle with literary conscious people. Many of the works by the members of the circle have been included in the Manyoshu. Here are poems by two members of the circle. The first is a poem composed by Ono-oyu. 青によし、奈良の都は咲く花の、匂うがごとく、今盛りなり。The capital of Nara, flourishing now at its best, like blooming flowers, filled with fragrance. Next is a poem composed by Sami Mansei. Mansei was from a noble family, and he rose through the social ranks at the court in the capital, but he became a priest later. He was dispatched to a temple in Dazaifu. 世の中を何に例えん朝開き、漕ぎ西船の後なきごとし。To what shall I compare this world, as is a boat rolling out from the morning harbor, leaves no traces on the sea. The Manyoshu contains a great number of poems about love. This was influenced by the marriage system of the time. At the time, visitor marriages, in which the couple lived separately, were common. From the romantic period, the man would visit the woman at night and leave early in the next morning. If the woman's mother objected, the marriage often did not take place. Sending poems of love to each other was an important way to keep each other's hearts together. Concerned that his love with his girlfriend was not be developing because of her mother, the man composed a poem for her. たらちねの母に触らばいたずらに、今しもあれも異なるべしや。If we care too much about what your mother would think, we might be wasting our time in bringing our love to bear fruit. After the couple got married, they likely need a certain period of time to get to live together. Since polygamy was practiced, women's positions were unstable as their husbands might stop coming. Lady Autumn of Sakanoue worried about her daughter, whose husband had not visited her for some time. Lady Autumn of Sakanoue was the half-sister of Otomotabito. Because of polygamy, it was common to have siblings who had different mothers. On behalf of her daughter, Lady Autumn of Sakanoue composed a poem addressed to her daughter's husband. 恋恋て会える時だに美しき、こと尽くしてよ、長くと思わば。Say to me all the words of love, at least a night, when I finally meet you, my dear, I've always longed for, if we want to keep us together. Even when two young couples fell in love, their love didn't always last. In some cases, women continue to send poems one way to the other men. One woman fell in love with a nobleman of higher position than herself and sent him 29 poems. However, she received only 2 poems in reply from him. One was the poems she composed. 思いにし、死にする者にあらませば、したびそ我は死に帰らまし。If the pains of love were to bring me death, I already have repeated my death 1,000 times. Emperors also had multiple wives, but some wives found themselves in a difficult position when the power of the former wife was strong. One such woman composed a poem for the emperor. 君により、事の刺激をふるさとの飛鳥の川に急ぎしに行く。About our relations, my lord, the rumors of me are getting louder. I'm going to the Asuka River in my home village to purify myself. Those days, men and women alike wore various flowers in their hair through the 4 seasons, such as those plants. Noticing the shiny dewdrops of a bush clover her husband had worn in his hair, a woman composed a poem. 我が瀬古が風しの萩に置くつゆをさやかに見よと月は照るらし。The moon shines clearly as if telling to see closely beautiful drops of dew on a bush clover you are placing in your hair. At the time, a long journey across the sea by ship was very dangerous, and there are many cases where people could not return home safely. A woman composed a poem as a harbor. Her husband was going to leave for a country on the Korean peninsula. 君が行く海辺の宿に切りたたば、あが立ち嘆く、息と知りませ。If you come across the mist, covering your seaside lodge, please take it as my breath, with a sign of lamentation I'm blowing at you. Since ancient times, Japan has been considered the country where the spirit of words bring good fortune. People believed that good things happen when they said good words, and bad things happen when they said bad words. At the banquet to send off the envoy to China, Hakinomoto Hitomaro composed a poem. Japan was called Yamato at the time. Hitomaro has been admired as a saint of poetry since the ancient times. In the Manyoshu, his poems are the second most numerous. 敷島の大和の国は言霊の助くる国ぞ正きくありこそ。In the land of Yamato, we believe the spirit of words will bring good fortune. So, I'll say to you, have a safe trip. This is the end of the Manyoshu Part 4. Thank you for watching.